and I won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out.
Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining us right here on The Right View. Tonight we are so excited to be joined by, I don't even know if he needs an intro, but I'll do it anyway, real estate agent, filmmaker, and reality star, Luis Ortiz. Luis, you recently posted a video online. I saw it on Instagram, and you were sharing your thoughts about a lot of things, but specifically, you were questioning if the government really thinks we're all stupid and not paying attention to everything going on. I can't imagine for someone who has operated sort of in the space you have, and you really don't want to get too out there with maybe your political views or how you feel about things. For you to post this video probably took a lot of guts. What made you want to create this video and post it online?
Well, I was never involved in politics, and it had no reason other than the fact that I was a kid in New York making money, and I was just focused on the things in front of me, and I was just, looking at life ignorant like you always are. I think we're all born fresh, but then we become ignorant as we grow because we're fed things that are not real. And then when I am, but things don't look really very concerning to me. And that during that time, this time around, I'm starting to see things that give me a direct or at least a big idea of how the government that we trust so much operates. Okay. I obviously give credit to X because of this, but people say, okay, X is just a free speech platform. If everybody can say anything, then everything is misinformation. Well, no. If you have a white bulletin board, everybody, it's allowed to post something there, which first is great because they're allowing you to write something. But then when you come and read it, you have to really, you can't have somebody else tell you what to make of all this. You got to really take your own stand independently from your mother, your sister, from anybody, and get the information there yourself. Like now, because I've stopped working for a while and I've been out of everything in the eye for almost 4 years. I don't think I've ever spoke to a lot of people before. I'm focusing on music and something else I'm doing. But as I'm seeing this, I'm starting to get really, really disturbed by what I'm finding out. Now, first of all, anything that I'm saying is not 100% proof. There is no evidence whatsoever, but this is what I am concerned as a citizen of the world, of the United States. Nobody in the United States needs to be a journalist in order to know the truth. We are supposed to know the truth from our people that we choose to represent us, right? And obviously, there's always corruption in different countries and blah, blah, and that's kind of normal, which is unfortunate, but it's kind of normal. But you know what? If you're going to have some corruption, at least take care of your country first, And I'm not even, saying, I'm not even, suggesting anything like that. But what I'm saying is that what they're doing, okay, I'll just get more specific.
Yeah, tell me how you got to this point. Because look, you're for people who don't know you, you started out, you were on, I think, $1 Million Listing initially. That's where I first came to know you. And it sounds like we probably have known a lot of the same people. I've never actually met you, but I followed you online. And I saw you posted this video where you sort of just like let it all out. What is it that made you say like, hey, this is enough and I've got to sound the alarm and at least speak my truth? Because I love what you're saying about the bulletin board. We have to have the wherewithal and the ability to be able to differentiate things for ourselves. We don't need a disinformation czar. We don't need any of that stuff. We, the people of this country, are smart enough and have the ability to decide for ourselves what is real and what is fake. So tell me what happened with you. How did you get here?
Well, the truth is I just started to explore on X the world, and it became very political because that was actually what most people were bringing up. When I started really paying attention was when Kamala took over office. What I'm seeing is from a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, I start to see Joe Biden literally collapsing slowly, little by little. And regardless of the party that I am, I'm just looking at the person, and he is not doing well, and you can clearly see that. You only see that though in free bulletin boards, and like places where everybody can post.
Oh, you mean the media is not talking about it, right, Luis? Hey,
that is the problem. Check this out. If you have only one source of information for 100 years, you are everything that information has told you. You've become everything that they tell you to become, and it's not even your fault. That's the sad part.
Of course.
That's the part that's hard because there are people that are very, very fanatics of the Democrats, but they're good people. They just don't understand because it's almost it's almost like I don't even want to believe that something this crazy is happening. And when I say crazy, let me explain. So Joe Biden is not performing well, and you can see how they're still pushing him. And then there's videos of Obama taking Joe Biden out of the stage because he's like freezing. And then you're like, okay, so in one hand, he's talking like this is his friend for life, like he is a confidant and he's the person that but yet you're still doing that to him. Then Kamala comes involved. Now, when Kamala comes in, she raises $1 billion in like a month, and I'm like, this, first of all, in the past 5 years. Nobody has ever mentioned anything about Kamala in nobody's conversation about politics. No one knew what she did.
Luis, excuse me. She was an insurance policy for Joe Biden that they weren't going to oust him from office because everybody said this is not a person who's serious. This is not a person with any capabilities to be president.
When I see, I don't go right into judging that, right? I say, okay, I'm just observing what's happening. And then so this woman comes in and I'm like, okay, I've never gotten to meet her. Right. So I can't just jump. Obviously, this is not, first of all, it doesn't seem legal because all of a sudden there's a candidate that nobody voted for in the primary.
It's called undemocratic, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's so those are starting to sound like red flags. And then you start listening. The first thing is for 3 or 4 weeks into her campaign, she has not talked to nobody. And I'm like, hold on. Nobody knows anything about you, which I am almost thinking it was kind of the plan, right? But nobody knows anything about her. Nobody knows what their policies are. She doesn't do anything good or bad. Nobody just knows. And all of a sudden, she is the most trusted person to run a country by all these Democrats, by the people behind her, which I understand, being loyal to your team. If you're in sports, this is a different type of sport. This is not sports. This is people's lives. Right. So when you start seeing a person doesn't want to address their own nation while they're campaigning to get people to vote, then I'm saying, okay, so this person is depending on headlines. Now I'm thinking, why headlines? I am guilty of this own thing. I used to, not anymore, but I used to make my news about the headlines I read until I realized, what am I doing? Like, headlines are just literally there's an art behind headlines in order to grab attention and also
clickbait,
whatever that is. Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, they don't care if actually the meat of what's in the article itself has anything to do with truth in a headline. But they want you to click in because that's what it is. It's clickbait. I can't tell you how many misleading headlines there have been written about my family.
Yes,
pretty much all of them, Luis. I'll go ahead.
It all kind of goes together. The same people that I have grown all my life, seeing as people to look up to, and seeing people who I should be supposed to be to aspire to, and who this country is giving me the ability to do that, have all sold themselves to something in order for personal gratification and tell us that this is what we need. This is what we look up for. That's no education. And that is actually something that has been done with the government to keep things in line, to separate people. What I always said about Donald Trump is that what I like about him, and sometimes he says crazy things. He just speaks his mind. I say crazy things too, and I don't mean a lot of things that I say. What you have to read is between the lines. People that are very, very passionate and really, really want to make a difference, they don't think about what they say. They have it in their heart. Mm-hmm. And Trump, he's a developer breed in New York. A New York developer breed is a specific kind of breed, and it's a breed of competitiveness, or of branding, of like delivering good product, there's a lot of things that are involved in that. And as a business person, to succeed in that realm, especially to achieve things that nobody's ever been able to achieve before, even with like mega donations, you start to say, okay, this guy, he was just born a businessman.
All right, so Luis, in your video, one of the things you talked about was good versus evil. I remember hearing you say that. And you're saying that, there are people out there who want to destroy our country before they leave office. Tell me about that. And honestly, I think one of the things that I would love people to take away from talking with you today is the idea that you can't just take what is fed out to us. You have to be willing to go do some research, and you have to get more involved and pay more attention, right?
Yes.
Collectors, listen up. My friends at Global Coin present the 2024 $50 Golden Eagle, a rich symbol of prestige and integrity, minted at the renowned West Point Mint and graded a perfect mint state 70 by NGC. This coin is comprised of 1 ounce of 22 karat gold, and it features the classic 1907 Augustus St. Gaudens design on the obverse and the family of eagles on the reverse. This is heritage in your hands. So act now and elevate your collection with this iconic piece that is all yours at the current spot price of gold, with a free shipping and 30-day money-back guarantee. Don't miss this chance to add the 2024 $50 Gold Eagle to your collection and your legacy while supplies last. Call Global Coin now at 888-385-0066. That's 888-385-0066. FDN firefighter Daniel Foley assisted in rescue and recovery efforts at Ground Zero. But Daniel couldn't have known then that his heroism would cost him his life more than 18 years later. His death, like so many others, resulted from 9/11 related illnesses caused by the toxic dust that formed when the Twin Towers collapsed. Victims and first responders are still suffering and dying from 9/11. Yet children in this nation are growing up unaware of America's darkest day. The Tunnel to Towers 9/11 Institute is helping educators teach children about 9/11. Tunnel to Towers 9/11 curriculum units have scripted lessons, background for teachers, and activities for students. They're based on first-person accounts and designed to meet many academic standards. The 9/11 Institute offers the Discovering Heroes book series, a speakers bureau, a mobile exhibit with 9/11 artifacts, and memorial scholarships for the children of the Foundation's program recipients. Help our nation keep its promise to never forget. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at t2t.org. That's T2T.org.
100%. When I started to really pay attention is when I started seeing the immigration problem, okay? When I started to see, and this is only seen on places other than the main sources, which I think is where most of the Americans get their information from, because most of the people that use X are kind of independent, younger, rebellious types, and people don't trust in those sources, but those sources are as trustworthy as they come, because these are the people who actually care and are not afraid to expose things. Now, when I start seeing that there's 15 million people now plus illegals crossing the border, and there's a big percentage of them that are criminals and are rapists and etc. And then it's a very clear evidence that she has not been to the border in 3.5 years. And all of a sudden she comes there for a photo op of 20 minutes. She leaves, and then she goes the next day in a rally and says, I'm going to fix the border problem. I was down. I said, hold on. You just created a problem to say that you're going to solve it if I elect you. Mm-hmm. And my heart started racing, because now I start saying, hold on. So she's willing to put people in. Oh, so why is she doing that? That was my question. Then I'm starting to find out that they're trying to give residency, legal green cards to people that just cross with no problem, when there are like billions of people who've been trying to come here legally with amazing talent, with incredible heart, great people that are still waiting in line, with, that are really, really coming here to be a part of something great instead of destroying it.
And doing it the legal way, Luis.
And legal, you know what it means? Legal is, imagine if you have a house, in your house, and you open the doors that everybody come in. You can't do that, because by doing that, you don't know who's in your house, and you got to protect your house, because in your house are your children, your husband, the people you love, everything you've worked your entire life. So this same metaphor for the country is exactly the same. When now I start seeing that they are using illegal immigrants that they clearly know are bad for our country, to get votes, or to at least promise them, because I have also heard that they're asking them, and once they have to cross, they have to vote Democratic. And also there's data that says that most immigrants vote Democratic, because they also watch these news. My parents, they don't understand where I'm coming from, because they're so used to this media, ABC, CBS, and now I look at them with a different eye, and I feel like they're looking you in the eye and saying, just the sky is green. And you're like, no, blue is green.
Let me ask you this before we go, because I think it's so important when people who have some sort of platform, like you certainly do, you have followers, you have people who check in with you and want to hear from you and want your thoughts on things. I think it's so important when people start saying the things that you've said, which essentially is you've got to be accountable for what information you receive. You can't just sit back and be lazy and say, oh, I'm just going to take everything at face value. You said it. If you love this country, then you have to work for it. You got to really dig deep and look into things and not
And
take.
look beyond the picture, the surface.
Right,
The surface
right.
is too pretty and too easy to look at. It's
Yeah.
right there. But everything in our world lies to us. You
But-
got to be able to make your own assumptions. Yes.
But my question is, what are you hearing out there from other people? Meaning, what response have you gotten from maybe your followers online, or maybe people who in real life in person? And I know you probably have a certain group of people that
Tell
you
you what
hang
I
out with
see.
who may not be in line politically with
Yes.
my politics. What are you hearing from people out there?
I'll tell you what, more than what I can hear, I'll tell you what kind of people am I hearing from. For example, everybody who is supporting Donald Trump, it's very convicted by that decision and have their thousands of reasons. They never say that he's perfect in any capacity, but they definitely say that he's surrounding himself with the most incredible people and team that the world has ever put together, which has nothing to do with politician fabric. It has everything to do with intelligent mind and big hearts and honesty and transparency, which no politician has ever given us. Now, I forgot what I was saying in this part.
What are people saying? So the
Oh,
people
what
for
they're
Donald
saying,
Trump,
what they're saying.
right?
Oh, yes, and then the people who are in the Democratic Party, they don't seem to be confident about it, but they almost seem afraid to be able to change their mind. And it's also a preoccupation of mine, because if there's a lot of people that really see what Democrats are doing and they really want to go on this line but don't because of fear and because of just not, it's a pressure that it's not easy to break.
Yeah.
But that's why I say it has to be an independent process. You got to take yourself for a minute and do your own research and forget about everybody's going to tell whatever they think is best for them. Nobody cares about you. It's unfortunate, but this is the world we are. So now we have to protect what's ours and not let any government take advantage of all the work that we do with the illusion that we can make something of our lives and a dream big. Nobody can afford a house. Like that's not an American dream. And how can you say we're going to fix that if you're in office? So nothing about this campaign makes sense to me. To me, Donald Trump seems to be very sincere. He seems to be extremely intelligent. He seems to be extremely open-minded to everything that needs to be said around him, for him to actually listen, get the same people or better people to effectively take it to fruition. That's what a leader does. A leader is not the technical person who knows every dot. He knows everything about the business, but he has the peoples and the heads.
You have to surround yourself with the people.
Yes.
Right? But that's why they hate Donald Trump so much.
Yes.
They hate Donald Trump because they cannot control Donald Trump. He is a businessman at heart, and that is always who he's been. And he does want to just do the best thing for the country.
I'll tell you something. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, but I don't think it's even that he's uncontrollable. I just think that Donald Trump to them is the end of their party, meaning the real party.
Well, he exposes them, and he makes people sit up and do exactly what you did, which is let me look into this more. And they can't afford to have that happen because there are too many people who've already seen the light like you did. I just want to say again, thank you for being willing to speak up and encourage other people to do the same, and encouraging people to do your own research and get your own information. It's so important.
Just do your research. I'm not even telling you to who. Just do your research and yes, it's all there. It's all there.
Yeah,
it's all there. So
I know.
I'm putting myself here this time because I'm not in TV. I'm not a TV. I am Luis, just a regular civilian trying to stand up for this country. I just happen to have a voice, and I want to use it while I think it's correct. That's all we got. If not, if you see something like this passing around and you do nothing, then why are you even here? Why do you stand for?
You might, there are some quotes somebody sent me recently that's essentially said, it might be easier for you to stay silent right now, but it won't be easier for your children. And that's really true, because what we're doing right now and the things for which we are fighting right now will directly impact the next generation of Americans. And we can't afford to sit back and relax. Well, Luis Ortiz, I want to say thank you for joining us here at The Right View. Thanks for your bravery, and thanks for your voice, and continue doing what you do. I know I don't even have to tell you that, but it's appreciated by a lot of people out there. So thank you very much. And to everybody at home, as always, make sure you like, subscribe, share, and follow. And we'll see you back here next time for more.
And I won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out.
Nothing is worse than being on a phone call that drops. Nothing is worse than trying to text someone and you can't reach them because your phone is out of service range. And nothing is worse than supporting these major corporations and companies who don't support us. That is why I love Patriot Mobile. They are America's only Christian conservative wireless network. They use every cell tower out there available to all networks so that they have the greatest 4G and 5G coverage nationwide, and they support the causes that are important to us as conservatives. If you go today to patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump and use the promo code Trump, you will get free activation today. Again, that is patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump. The promo code is Trump for free activation so that you can get a great cell plan and feel good about doing it.